saw them post about it being the anniversary today. I threw that on while I was working earlier. I'm like, yeah,
30 years.
it still holds up. It
What's
really is.
your
That's
what's
how
your favorite one? What's your favorite joint off Purple
right
Sage?
now, I will say for like maybe the last year and a half, I've been really into North Star. That's my shit. I feel like it closes out the record so well, but like that talk that old boy gives before the record is so big and cinematic. It feels like the end of like a mob movie or something like that. So production wise and everything hard, but also bro kind of remind me of A Rashid that be on a lot of like the West Side and Griselda stuff,
Mm.
who's also really raw. I love his interlude, but that's probably my favorite right at this moment.
I think mine has been Knowledge God. It's
Nice.
just like it's such a tough beat to rap on, in my opinion. And I think
Mhm.
that's something that I ended up really taking away from Wu-Tang when I did the Knowledge to them. It's like I've always felt like an unorthodox kind of rapper
Mm.
because Tanel is so technical.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I felt like for us to be different, I kind of just created an unorthodox. And as I started listening to Raekwon, I start hearing that, and I was like, "Oh, he's like the drunken master flow." Like
Yeah.
it's a different and Knowledge God to me is like crazy, and just what they talking
Mhm.
about, the sample,
Mhm.
everything. It's a crazy. That's a crazy song. They
No,
don't.
yeah.
They don't make shit like that no more.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, and I was even like listening to Nas part on like verbal intercourse. I'm like, yeah, these guys was like really all in the projects and shit, just getting busy.
Just getting
Like
busy.
it
I was
really.
I was telling
Mhm.
to now I was like that Gen X group of people like
Mhm.
Royce the 5'9", Joe Budden, Slaughterhouse, Lupe.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
I guess Lil Wayne, technically. Maybe he's a little younger than them, but
Yeah, but I feel like he would still be like on
that
the
group,
younger spectrum of like Gen X. And
Fabulous,
yeah,
all
yeah,
of them,
yeah,
their whole thing was just being the best rapper
yeah.
possibly.
Mhm.
Like they all rap so well because
Mhm.
they got to see the beginning and
Mhm.
experience like the beginning, like they were born during the beginning of it and
Mhm.
got to be little kids during like the purest form.
Right, kind of like that scene in Brown Sugar when they like at the park and they
Mm-hmm.
watching the cats
Mm-hmm.
freestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And
Literally.
you know, you listen to
It's
them in the
literally them.
interviews and documentaries and all that, and they talk about those stories. And I'm like,
Yeah.
damn.
It's
I was
literally them.
home a couple weeks ago or whatnot, and just hanging with my parents before I came back home or whatnot. And yeah, I was like playing The Bridge Is Over and like South Bronx, South Bronx, and The Bridge is like going through that beef, and then Roxanne Shante and all that, and just like watching my parents like light up and like still remember the lyrics and them
Mm-hmm.
talking about when like it first hit St. Louis and like getting all of that and the places there was like, man, I just know
That's
that was
why.
an era. It's and then like that pre-social media, you really looking through photo albums and just listening to like word of mouth, like folklore for real about a lot of those memories because it so much stuff wasn't documented. Everybody didn't have a camera in their pocket back then, you know.
Right. That's real. That's
So
real.
I don't know. I just find it really really special and just I've been kind of in like an old school hip hop kind of like bag. I've always been an old school hip hop fan. I guess just because of the way I was raised. I know
Right.
you're a big fan of it as well.
Yeah.
But just lately, I'm just like the music was really good. It was really, and they were kids, bro. A lot of them were
And they
teenagers.
were talking about real life
Yeah.
in a way that because they didn't have social media, they weren't so distracted.
Mm-hmm.
Now adults have that delayed clarity. I would say
Mm-hmm.
that's the best way I would call it. It's like they had much
Mm-hmm.
more clarity because they just were less distracted. It's just like
Right, right,
you know
right,
what I mean.
right,
So
right, right.
I can appreciate that music a lot more too. It age as well. And speaking of kind of like you talk about regional sounds,
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about I know the Metro Project came out,
Yeah, pretty
just
solid.
came out literally.
Yep, yep.
The Tyler the Creator,
Mm-hmm.
Don't Tap the Glass came out.
Mm-hmm.
But I was thinking about Metro Boomin. He Metro Boomin and probably DJ Premier are two producers that get um segmented into like a region
Interesting.
that they
Mm-hmm.
aren't from.
Where's Primo from?
He from Houston. He's from
Really?
he's from Texas.
I did not know that.
DJ Premier is
Wow.
from Texas,
That's
but you pin him as a New
crazy.
York East Coast
Yeah, yeah,
producer,
yeah.
And Metro Boomin is from St. Louis, the Midwest. Even though
Mm-hmm.
St. Louis has a Southern culture,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not the same. He's not from the South.
Right.
In a way, like if he was from Mississippi or Alabama or even Kentucky or something. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some other examples of people,
Mm-hmm.
but like that's super interesting. And like people are like heralding him for bringing up a sound that he technically wasn't present for. I think that's super fire. I think that's the most fire thing about this whole Metro Boomin thing and bringing back the sound.
Right. No, that's really interesting. I think at least I don't know. That's a very interesting take in general. I guess because now I'm even thinking about Primo. I guess around the time that he would have come up, it would have also kind of been like the OG days of hip hop. So like when it was the beginning
golden era.
Seedling growing before the tree and all the branches expanded. I guess there kind of was just like that one standard format that everybody built off of for hip hop to kind of exacerbate and become all these other different regional sounds and everything. And then with Metro, I feel like he's really a child of the internet. I think he said like he moved down there as a teenager, so maybe he kind of got some. He didn't. When did he move down there?
College. He went to college.
Oh, bam. Okay.
17,
well,
18.
I guess like still teenager.
Yeah.
I'm thinking a little bit younger or whatever.
Yeah, but even that, I know some guys that it's his age. You know what I'm saying? That they're friends with, and I mean, I want to say he's got to be graduated high school 2011.
Gotcha.
I don't think Metro is 2010. I don't think he's 2010. I want to say he's at the oldest 2011.
Got you.
So he's like, that's what I'm saying. Like the era that he actually pulling from.
Yeah.
Like,
now that's
he was definitely in St. Louis.
yeah. Now that's crazy. I mean, and that sound was booming up here too, though.
No, like, he knows it. But I was just saying,
internet, man.
That like the people in it, the way that people in Atlanta are responding to it.
Yeah,
I think it's really enduring and it's really tight. That
it's
almost like if I came out with like a freaking like juke project from Chicago, and it was like, man, this is like some real Chicago shit. Like, I wouldn't even hear for that.
I'm grateful that y'all thought that. Like,
that's so fire to me.
Yeah. Nah, for sure. I know you say you haven't really given it a spin yet, but outside of those compliments online, what I guess are you seeing? I feel like I saw you on the timeline earlier, so I'm sure you probably seen a little bit of reaction.
Yeah, just literally, it's more so AT aliens. Atlanteans kind of just being like what era, calling back people thinking maybe, I don't know if people from out of town or younger people trying to pull it back to Soulja Boy, and they like, nah,
right.
What it mean to have Schoolie singing on there, that whole vibe, you know. So, and we closer to Atlanta than like, I don't know the reactions that, and I would like to know your thoughts on this. Like, Tyler the Creator, as he's gotten older and gotten more mainstream success now, is sharing more of his love for Black LA music, Black LA street kind of music, which I'm liking. I'm hearing a lot in this project that what I have listened to for the Tyler project too. I haven't given it a great listen. Is Polyester the Saint. You remember Polyester the Saint?
No, I'm not hip. Who's that?
Polyester the Saint was around. So if Tyler the Creator and them was coming out like around 20, when Our Future really took off like 2010, 2011, Polyester the Saint was doing more music with like Overdose, Dom Kennedy,
got you.
Terrace Martin.
Got
like if you play some Polyester the Saint, like if I sent you a couple tracks, you would be like, oh, okay, I see. But that's some real LA shit. Like I had
yeah.
I was really only listening to LA shit when I was in college. I was like listening to JR, Mr. LA, Casey Vince. I was like LA out for a second.
Yeah.
No, like I was listening to LA shit. Crazy.
Yeah.
You know
no, that's
fire.
No, that's dope. I think it's cool that Tyler is doing that. I know a lot of the conversation when Kendrick with the beef and the pop out of GNX and all that, there was a lot of conversation about like regionalism in hip hop. I think people on the internet were saying it needs to come back a lot of the time. A lot of people were talking about how they miss when New York rappers would sound like a New York rapper and the Atlanta rapper like Atlanta, so on and so forth. That's a year and a half from like that moment at this point. I think it's a little more freeing. Also, Tyler, he does nitpick on other aspects. Like he's very much so more LA. I feel like LA is kind of having a moment between Kendrick and Tyler and fucking even a Thundercat and Anderson .Paak and all these other artists out there right now that are actually from LA versus the transplants that move out there for the business side of things. And I think they're definitely having a run at it. But even like this Metro Boomin project, you know, like that's something I can see. And Meg, she already does kind of tout a nice amount of H-Town. Like her flow is very Texas, Houston informed anyway. Yeah. But I can imagine and I can kind of envision her touching a little bit more to that Houston, especially after Cowboy Carter. Like Houston is kind of I think it's around the corner from bubbling and having like a nice little cultural like segmented moment as well. But you know, picking up on this stuff also in like the dance culture scene as DJs, like people are really into New Orleans bounce. They're really into like house music, like Chicago stuff. Jersey Club is really on a run on the dance floors. Detroit techno, like a lot of these sort of things. Miami bass, it's a lot of songs. They got that Miami bass sound that are like going viral on TikTok and things of that nature. So I think we probably are like getting back into the middle of that. And I think it's cool for the kids. I don't know if it's just sampling, but I'm seeing younger artists like in Chicago, even if you're a drill rapper, they all making a juke record nowadays because that juke record gonna get you some traction. It's a few artists that I've been DJing like they're like more local or like, you know, you catch a song on YouTube and kind of throw it your way. It's 2 days with 50,000 views. I'm like, oh, okay, they got some motion in. Let me like tap in.
Yeah.
It's a juke record, a footwork type of record. And then I go to your YouTube and like you definitely still talk about up and pole and ops at the same time, but they know that like I don't know if they're chasing the algorithm or it just kind of is like a ethos that's kind of happening. But
well,
I like it. I like what's happening in the game right now.
That's a good point that you make because when we were coming up, being an artist, it wasn't unnatural what people used to call the girl record. Right. And so even coming up as an artist, we always were conscious of like, damn, we gotta have a girl record. You know what I mean? And I think that when Chief Keef, if I was just gonna stay in Chicago,
okay,
they're like, of course they had house parties and like outside stuff like that, but it wasn't like the generation previous to them. And now the generation after them has gotten back into dance. Like when we were little kids, legit, Cha-Cha Slide was out.
Right.
And for them, now if you were a little kid, let's say you were born in 2010, so you were a little kid in 2017, you were 7, bro, all you know is TikTok and dancing. And I think that that's cool, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, you know what I mean? Like that's really all you know. You're 15 now. Like I got 14, 15-year-old little cousins and stuff like that. It's like that's what they into. They into dance, they into that. And so I think it's actually probably the best positive that TikTok has done is giving kids like the space to kind of be kids and be online.
Right.
I don't like that they have access to lower vibrational thinking a lot of times. Like that's why like a lot of streamers, I don't like they little kids watch like dating content and like stuff like that. I think that that's a little inappropriate. But I'm all for the little kids having their Love Island summer. You know what I'm saying? I'm all for like that old trend. What I guess now a trend is going back to the mainstream. Yeah.
No, it's fun, man. I mean, the third space nowadays is the internet. So I guess like from looking as an older person at what the kids are doing, yes, it's still some negativity out there. But even if you let your kids jump off the porch and run around the neighborhood, it's gonna be some negative. But we are watching kids be kids again in many different ways, and it's even a couple random like Instagram pages that I started following. Like there's at least it's this one kid down in Florida. He was like he's trying to band up over the summer. He be washing cars or whatever.
I like that. I seen his content.
Yeah. I like watching him and his girl. Early on, he like switched up his like money go because he had enough to like reinvest it. Like he hired his brother and stuff. And like I haven't seen it in a minute, but like he was going crazy. I know he doing good at this point because the page was growing. I know people find out about him as cul-de-sac. So that's awesome. And even like it's another page called like The Adventure Boys. It's just like these young teenage boys.
I seen these dudes, man. They be tweaking, bro.
Kicking and having fun out in the woods, playing in water with sticks and shit. I'm like, oh, like that's nice to just see kids going outside and like still doing the same shit that we used to do. They'll still post it, but like you got to put your phone down to get out there and like play or whatever. So
But we were like that as well, though. Like me and Tanel were
Yeah.
recently watching videos of us in 2006 and 7, and it's like, yeah, I
Okay.
was 16, 17 on YouTube. Like, you know what I
Right,
mean? Like,
right.
so it's become so normalized now. And I even think that parents and people are understanding like why we got to take phones away from kids and why social media needs to be regulated so much more. And with the invention of, well, I saw Morgan Dubon talking about how Zuckerberg is calling it super intelligence now.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the emergence of super intelligence, and we can actually transition into the job market after this. It seems like there's another heightened level of awareness that everybody has to have to technology now. Like when we were coming of age, and I'm only talking about kids in poverty, probably more so.
Okay.
They started to have access to phones and internet connection, but not computers.
Right.
Right. And so now you probably have kids that maybe have tablet access or internet access, still probably don't have the power of a computer, which changes the way that you interact with the AI, which changes the way that you can do a whole bunch of stuff. But they are aware of digital currency. They are aware of like these actual advanced concepts that have been completely normalized to them. And it actually is an opportunity if we could just not, fuck it off.
Yeah, and I mean, they talk about the future for a while now, but like the emergence of the smartphone like 10, 15 years ago, I feel like really after that iPhone 3 really popped off, that was like the game changer, like 08, 09. There was a lot of BlackBerry people and other stuff going that time. But Apple started to dominate that like 9, 10. It became like a thing. And they've gotten really, really good at making a computer do all things that sits in your pocket all day, because that's we use our phones more as computers than we do actual telephone devices nowadays in many regards. And you see a consolidation of the way that we interact with each other, with nature, with economies, with dating, like all these different things kind of shifted. And I mean, to kind of go into the job market aspect, we are starting to kind of see what some of this AI mass layoff stuff is starting to look like. I think also some like results from Doge and like a lot of those cuts as well. But they've been kind of documenting the federal layoff stuff like a month.
All right,
so
cool.
like
there we go.
The Dow and everything is down 500 points into the day or whatnot. And it's funny because I actually just started trying to get a little more aggressive with my investment. I'm probably still gonna do it and just like buy the dip. The market will go up at some point, but it is concerning. And he also just made like those big tariff things at the top of at like yesterday and the day. So now we gotta worry about 35% from here, 41, 39s from places like India and Canada, where we do actually import a lot of stuff from. And he's walking around talking all this stuff about how many billions of dollars we're raking in because it's tariffs. That's 1,000% us, the American worker and taxpayer, paying, the consumer paying for it, bro. India, China is not being like, we'll pay you to import our stuff. It really is working out the way that the economists said it will work out, where we're going to import the stuff and then the company will have to inherit that tariff, and they can either eat some of it, which many businesses have kind of tried to do for as long as they can. We've seen it because they've been talking about it for a while now. But it's Walmart and Amazon and them right before back to school time saying like, no, we gonna have to actually raise some of these prices up. And it's just bad, bro. Like the layoffs, and then you double down with the AI stuff and automation and all of this. Like a lot of those tech jobs are not going to come back. Like I can understand why they would use AI to get rid of and trim the fat on some of these like highly automated, repetitive jobs. I absolutely think that these people should still be getting paid. I don't love the disruption of the workforce via AI by any means. And it is very flawed in many ways as well. It's not like it's actually perfect technology. We just got a lot of big tech bros who got a lot of lobbying money that's just finessing their way to try to bogart the system. And it's going to blow up in people's faces, honestly. But at the same time, we're also seeing where there's not a lot of capital and venture capital out there to like invest in new startups. Like we're not creating new Ubers or Airbnbs or Facebooks that can also carry that load of these lost jobs. And by nature of AI, it's inherently going to be very efficient where we're not going to create the same amount of jobs either. We don't have a highway bill to, or infrastructure bill to give 200,000 jobs to, and then all the other ripple effect from new bars and restaurants and hotels come from it. We just kind of floating on an island of confusion and lack of direction right now. And it's scary for consumers all the way to people in our industry, bro. Like, budgets will get slashed for marketing. We're going to see that happen. We're going to see layoffs in our industry. I just saw a headline that said that hiring actually was a little bit better in advertising in like the last month or two than the broader economy, but that will change. We know that will change. I've seen some folks walking around, and I look at the news. I see people talking a whole bunch of stuff. And even when you go in to look for a new agency or whatever, you put your stuff out there for pitches, you're going to be wanting to pay less for the next go around because you know the capabilities of the technology at hand. So it is a very, very, very interesting time, and I'm not super alarmist. I try to be more of like an optimist with these things, but I can't lie, bro. It's a little scary. I think it's very interesting because we don't even have a visionary leader in office right now. He's a crook. So like, that's 4 years wasted of the erosion of democracy, of law, of like finessing the fuck out of people, of polluting fucking black neighborhoods in Memphis so people can like make fucking American Eagle bullet with a machine gun videos. Like, we're not in a good, healthy space for growth in the future of America, bro.
I think that this transition to having spineless leadership at the top and the greed, wow, I don't mean for it to sound the way that it does, but we never could have projected the negative effects of President Obama. And what it seems like to me that what the white men in our country's reaction to it was, oh, it's just about to be the fourth quarter. It's about to be a change. And when there was an opportunity, Hillary lost because of old Democratic plays that they continue to run. But when Biden actually had an opportunity to do the right thing for the country and he did not for his own political gain, his own ego, his own pride, I think that set the table for Trump to do the heists that is currently going on, because he was the president for everybody and he was supposed to protect us from tyranny. And part of what did they say? A strategy in war is retreat. Retreat is not losing.
Right.
It is retreating.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's a fast break, get back. Retreat. You know what I'm saying? Don't let them lay it up. You know what I'm saying? And we just watch them lay it up. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what. And now we're at the point to where the only way that we can course correct is two ways in this country, especially heading into the midterms and then the next election. The Republicans will have to do a coup, take back their party. And American citizens are actually going to have to stand up and speak out to these super big companies. Hey, guys, I have a great time. I love everything. We actually don't need AI right now. Until we can figure out, and these politicians have to figure out, because if I live in these towns and I'm getting this waste on this water, getting on this pollution, you telling me to take a shorter shower so that we can have this thing that we technically don't need, that our country was being the most powerful country in the world for? Because now y'all are hiding. History would show that you all are probably hiding some type of proxy war with the next person that's going to make AI to make the next weapon that me and you are never going to shoot. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, man, like, how much longer are we going to fall for that same trick and that same play? So when you talk about the job market, when I look at it from our industry, which is attached to the entertainment industry, and I see the layoffs at Disney, and we see the layoffs at Paramount, and we see the payouts to the president, you know what I mean? It begs the question that, like, yeah, what type of police state are we living in at this point?
Nice. We're living in a police
because now it's like, oh man, two things I believe. I do actually believe that they canceled the Colbert Show because it lacks ROI.
A lot of them do.
I hold on, no, but saying that to say, I also don't think that they tried to refine it to make it make sense in a way that when I look at other broadcast outlets, man, I remember ESPN for a lot of analysts never went back into the studio after the pandemic. Kendrick Perkins is at the house. So and so is at the house during the summer. That cuts down on production for the clip for them to air it on TV and for an hour later for it to be on YouTube. And for us to know people watch more stuff from people recording on their phones than they do high production. More people watch TikToks from their phones than they saw Sinners.
Yeah.
Than they saw Fantastic Four. You know what I'm saying? And so, like you said, like now we're in this like weird echo chamber where everybody can say, here comes the train. It's getting closer. It's 10 feet away. It's 5 feet away. And we're not moving. It's just ramming through us. And the Democrats now, the established Democrats, I saw the clip of Stephen Colbert and Kamala Harris. And she said that she wasn't running for office because the system is broken. Well, the system was broken when you were trying to run for president and when you ran for vice president and all the elected positions you've held or the non-elected officials that you held. Isn't this like your job? Aren't you like a public servant? But I understand it because you're rich and you know, I don't want to go to work either. So I'm not judging. But, you know, it can't be both sides. You can't say you're the best rapper and then say, well, music sucks. Well, put some raps out.
I like Drake to me. No, that's real. I think we've kind of talked about it before on here a few times. It's kind of like old legacy media has not figured out how to adapt to the current media landscape. Yeah, they have great IP catalogs and like they all own their own streaming services, but by no means are they going to be as largely profitable as they once were with traditional media. Like it just has happened. That's their whole thing. They can produce a bunch of stuff and still be getting some views, some millions of views on some things. But the ROI via the internet and like throwing it on YouTube as opposed to like the amount of money you're going to make off of ads and your ratings on traditional TV and even people sitting down all at that one moment in time because media consumption is so democratized now that absolutely has shifted. I just want to say in defense of Colbert, he was the highest rated late night TV show of all of them out there by a healthy portion. But yeah, I think there will likely be.
But not on YouTube.
Yeah, sure.
And I think that's important too. But to that point though, I think that like when people say to your point, the ROI, you look at Jimmy Fallon, you look at Jimmy Kimmel's YouTube presence as those other companies. And that's why I'm saying, well, though I am understanding that them making that decision and them, I understand them wanting to pivot from the late night show. I also think that the late night show deserves to be reformatted and refined to today's climate and today's taste. And I feel like that's why it's BS because they know for sure these next 2 more years, he was going to continue to go at Trump. And they also didn't want that. So if they had the opportunity to pivot, and I wouldn't be surprised if it came back in 2027 or 2028 in a new format with a new host.
We'll see. There's a lot of
because of IP to your point. Nothing tells me based off of history of IP that they're not going to do a reboot of the
thing is that the late night TV shows in general, kind of like the tobacco industry, it can still be profitable. It's been on a gradual decline just because that audience and like even the difference between a Colbert versus like a Jon Stewart or a Fallon, like I think the audiences that would pick up on who's performing on Fallon, who's doing interviews on Fallon or on Jon Stewart, where Colbert is an alumni of Jon Stewart before he went over to CBS and all of that, those are absolutely catered more for millennials and even Gen Z at times. There's rarely a guest on the Stephen Colbert CBS late night show that really resonates with me or a younger audience of I don't care to actually like listen to a Kamala Harris interview right now. It's nice she did it. I don't have that much beef with Shorty, but like it's very fitting that she's being interviewed on Colbert or whatever. And I think she probably would have got grilled and like threw in a blender if she went on Jon Stewart. Where if she really wants to get her message across to a younger audience, she absolutely would have gone in that direction. I think she might have on the campaign trail or whatnot. But yeah, no, it's a lot of layers. It goes back to it. Like they do need to figure out how to format it, but they're gonna have to take a pay cut at some point, bro. Like YouTube pays, but YouTube don't pay what your own network and your old format, your old business model by any means.
But I don't know if, well, to that point, we would both probably agree that Stephen Colbert is a bigger name than Joe Budden.
Yes, he is.
Right? And we're seeing what Joe Budden independently is able to do, right? Not taking a bag from, to your point, where does a talent like Stephen Colbert go from here? Joe Budden is not doing Sirius XM. Joe Budden podcast would be huge on Sirius XM. He's not doing Sirius XM. He's not doing iHeart. You know what I'm saying? Not doing Apple, not doing Spotify, not doing none of that stuff. You know what I mean? So to me, in this new gig economy, in this new creator economy, that is the future. Stephen Colbert, you are now competing with Kai Cenat. And that is the truth. And that is why a person like Jon Stewart, like I said, with that time off, reevaluating the landscape, having podcasts, different things, even a person like Joe Rogan. How do you not look at Joe Rogan? How do you not look at Bill Simmons, seeing the deals that they got and not obviously see what is right in front of you? Bill Simmons has only gotten bigger since leaving ESPN. You know what I'm saying? I see the headway that even a person like Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith is worth a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? He's built a platform that's worth a lot of money, but he built that platform. And I don't think that it's coincidence that the creators of color have created such a pathway that now everybody else has to figure out and follow, because that is what we always do. And so I'm just like, to your point, it's all melting in on itself, kind of. It's like eating itself from within, the snake eating its tail. And you know what I'm saying? And I'll be honest, it's interesting to watch. Like I said, as Malcolm X once said, you know, the chicken's coming home to roost. And that's kind of what I feel like Trump is the chicken's coming home to roost. Now, what I hope this chicken does, at least, is wakes people up to the power that they actually do have, because they all use their power to get conned. I hear Joe Rogan now crying. I hear Andrew Schultz now crying. And it's just like, you know, for a person, especially like Andrew Schultz, like you could have a show and sit next to a person like Charlemagne, who is not, was not, I would say that he wasn't the biggest like supporter of Kamala Harris, I feel like, compared to some other older black people like his age. Sure. Yeah, but he definitely was like, if I got to pick between these two, I feel like it's an obvious choice here. And all the pushback and the hubbub and all the stuff that she got for y'all to be crying about Trump now, it's like, well, we're always gonna ask politicians once they get hired. It's like, bro, that's not the point. The point is that we could have not invited the foxes to the chicken coop. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all opened the door for the fox.
Yeah. So bam and then bam. But basically, I feel you with the Colbert thing. I think Colbert would be more successful if he were to do it on his own than if CBS were to reformat it. I think we live in a personality era, for real. And the individual, if you got your platform big enough or it's influential enough, is absolutely bigger than like the actual like platform that you want to be on or whatever. We're seeing that across the creator economy in so many different ways. I don't know if he will want to. It'd be cool to actually see what that looks like if he does go that route. But he got another year of buying time over there before he might chill for a minute, then get back out there. I don't see why he wouldn't. Why not? But it still leaves legacy media in a very shitty position. And I know by the time like the evening news is going off, there's no reason to really watch like regular TV anymore. Anyway, like People are absolutely on YouTube and on TikTok doom scrolling until
Scrolling.
so that's an issue that they all gonna have to figure out in some sort of capacity. I would love to. I just like some of the old shit. I would just like to see people try ideas, but sometimes the old days, is old boys.
Would that not change to you though? Like, I guess to me, I look at it as a pivot, like, because we're in the industry, we get it. So you're Jimmy Fallon, you're NBC, right? You have a contract to different local stations can play this show at a particular time. You know what I mean? It runs, and like, I know you can't do it like geographically this way, but like, what if they just were live on Instagram? I'm scrolling and I see on TikTok, Jimmy Fallon is now on TikTok.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I guess I don't understand all the, I guess for the bigger companies, they might feel like, how do we squeeze every piece of revenue? But to your point, you actually said something that was really profound that people don't really say anymore. The loud part, the quiet part out loud. If you're a popular enough personality, it does not really behoove you to sign with the big networks. It only behooves people on the come up. And the perfect example of it was like, to help him go to the next level was like Pat McAfee. Like Pat McAfee had reached kind of his plateau here in the underground. So now being exposed to the mainstream, if he leaves the mainstream, his impact and resonance on the underground is still, because he's been validated. It's like, that's why I kind of think it's BS what CBS is doing on the other end, when it's like, maybe to your point, Stephen, it's almost like sports team. It's like, well, why would we pay LeBron $50 million again next year, when it's like we would be better off going younger and doing something new?
Right.
And to me, that's really what it is. It's like they got to find the next person. Like the Stephen Colbert, that format doesn't work anymore.
Yeah. And the irony,
or as well,
right. Because I mean, it's such like an institution in media. Like, if it is an interview worth watching, I will watch it either live, because I do have live TV still, or I'll watch it on YouTube later. I remember that Hulu era where like everybody was waking up and watching Hulu in the morning. That was your water cooler talk when you got to work.
That's real.
But it's so freaking like interesting to me. It was something I was about to say about like the personality and all that again. I really just feel like we're at this space now where it's almost kind of like a free for all. Once you able to like do what you want to do, like you said, like if you built up and you got your thing, but it's so much that goes into it. It's like user generated content, and like influencers are being more trusted than the brands themselves. Like, we've leaned over to this thing where we actually trust this person and this individual a lot more. And while you were talking, I was also kind of thinking for a hot second, it reminds me of like the decline of trust in institutions in mass over the last 30, 40 years at this point. We don't trust banks the same way we used to. Don't trust government. Don't trust the media / journalism. Don't trust colleges and universities. Don't trust religion. Don't trust the police or the military. Ironically, those are like the most trusted of the least trusted. It's still the police and military. I mean, I kind of get it, and this is a good amount of propaganda out there to kind of push that forward.
Essential workers. They're
But
essential workers.
we've become a lot more individualistic and just kind of like leaning off of these older institutions for quite some time now. But I think we've also watched the rise of these content creators who are not that educated. I know you mentioned Charlemagne and like these podcasters, and also in my head for a moment, I was like, these people are also not that bright. Like, they're not educated in a lot of these subjects. And I think it's a great skill to be a really good interviewer. I still admire that as a trait. It's another thing to be an informed journalist who actually does their homework. Joe Rogan is great at asking questions, giving good questions, giving space to people and engaging with them. It's a lot of 3-hour episodes of bullshit that he got out there that I'm not about to listen to y'all talk for 3 hours. But I know it's also background audio for a lot of people. It's just kind of like, bam, his setup is good. I think he has a great voice when it comes to like being able to listen to him just kind of shoot the shit about whatever. So
He's a comedian.
I get it. I get the ground level appeal, but he's not that bright. If he were that bright, he wouldn't have failed for the shit that he fell for. if Charlemagne were as bright as, you know, he likes to position himself to be, and I respect the brother for trying to, you know, make that extra step in his brand, but you got to read some books, bro. You got to read some radical shit that challenges you and kind of shakes up your worldview as well. Whether or not you believe and subscribe to it, you just need your mind to be opened a little bit more to think about shit in a different way. When you want to talk to Jill Stein and your questions are just kind of like messy, for real, kind of like soundbitey, as opposed to truly like asking, like, why we only always see you every 4 years? Like, what have you actually done substantively as a party for us to truly back you all, other than y'all just coming to say the Democrats always do this? Well, y'all always do this too, just coming around every 4 years in an election cycle to try to shake shit up. Like, are you a psyop? Like, it's so many other great questions that are out there. You got some crazy. I think Alex Jones is fairly smart. I think he is fairly smart. The motherfucker's just psycho. But the guy does read books and he does know some shit. And whether or not I agree with everything, that's a notch above like those fucking dudes that just like interviewed Netanyahu and shit. And I saw another clip recently of another guy more recently that was on that show. It's like, y'all have to stop infantilizing yourselves. Y'all 30-year-old grown men. You can't just do this. Oh, we're just chill and we're just dudes like taking an opportunity. It's like at the point of 30, as a man, you have a responsibility, bro. I don't care what nobody say. I get it, have fun, all that shit, but you got to tighten up as you get older. And like I say, I can only speak as a man. I'm not here to sit up here and tell the ladies what to do. This ain't a dating podcast and no shit like that. But at the same time, if you really want to have some foundation and some rock as a man, you need some intention. You need to be able to have a sense of direction and a vision. It ain't always got to be all figured out, but you at least got to have some fucking backbone and integrity out here. And a lot of these people is just sitting around trying to get money, clicks and clout, and like they lost the plot, bro. And what's happening is our economy and our democracy, our education system, and our social order is fucking going to shit because more people are watching Joe Rogan than fucking 60 Minutes. And the irony of South Park signing that multi-billion-dollar deal and talking shit about Trump right after CBS bent the knee so the merger could happen, it was just all the silly. And Scott, they need South Park. And South Park can do whatever the fuck they want to, too, because they built their own platform. Sure, they on Comedy Central, but they got it themselves. They're worth $300 million a year, bro, on their own. For what accounts to the revenue for streaming. So it's like, bam, they threw the 5 new seasons in for fun because they just got $1.5 billion. And they
and that's not including merch. That's not including merchandise. That's not included none of that stuff. No. Something that you talk about is like, okay, the traditional media created the space for less qualified people to have big voices when they started to create these echo chambers, right? And I think that might have been another knee-jerk reaction, like I said, with the Obamification of the nation. You know what I'm saying? When it was like, when Obama switched and said, okay, he's for gay marriage now, right? To be against that was to be against Obama in a certain kind of way. And at that time, to position yourself against Obama was to almost be like a pariah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so what that ended up doing, it was the early version of the internet and what was going on that like follows MSNBC, CNN. Oh, we're going to get a certain type of person to follow. Fox News figured that out early on. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that there has to be a fine line to me of recognizing what's going on. Like even in advertising, I see so many people, brands, they run the same play. They respond to the same things. And it's silly not to take into account what's actually going on and moving people in the streets. And so if you haven't been able to build an infrastructure that can respond, maybe not at the same speed as culture, but at least in the same time span as what's going on, you know?
No,
you're irrelevant.
I know you sent me, I forgot who the actual creator's name was, but you sent that video the other day about like the story of like Neiman Marcus versus Fred Siegel and kind of like both of them and their downfall and all that. But at the back end of that, I want to say it was that video. It could have been another one, but I think it was that one. They were basically saying like a good brand is interacting and engaging with people at the speed of culture. And the speed of culture is so fast nowadays, thanks to the internet, social media, things like that. Everything is super rapid. Like you could run a news expose, a 5-part series in a really big newspaper back in the day, and people would buy that shit every day for a week, and it unfolds. Nowadays, you might get 3 Epstein leaks or things like that in a day. Like the news cycle is so fast now. If you at work and you just pay attention to the news like we tend to do, it'd be you look at your timeline real quick, go to a couple meetings, go back to your timeline. It's like, damn, some other shit happened. And then on top of that, you get your regular like trending topics of like whatever happened on the internet, on a long TikTok story time or a Twitter thread that goes viral, and it's all of that going on. It's so much to keep up with. It's hard for brands to be able to do it while trying to keep up via social media. Shout out to people who work on really good social teams, though. There are brands that are like doing social really well in various ways. But on the other side, to kind of like talk about brands also being in touch and out of touch in culture in a more slow paced way without a social campaign. Like, how do you feel about the Sydney Sweeney jeans situation or whatever? Because this other like industry commentators, Beeman, all these other people like getting their 2 cents in on it, monetizing with their content and shit like that as well as the Ralph Lauren joint, which surprisingly had a bit of backlash from me. I saw as well. And I thought it was well done. It looks good. I see Young Joe already in on this video.
It was perfect. It was perfect. It was
Yeah.
perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like it was perfect. Ralph Lauren was not made for the hood. Niggas in the hood just wear
Right.
Ralph Lauren. That's not Ralph Lauren's brand. That's not Ralph Lauren's
Right.
story. College is for people who want to become elite. College is not for normal
And then
people.
prep attire is
Normal
really
people,
the shit that's worn at the elite institutions already.
That's why we made streetwear. Because we're not finna wear collar shirts every day.
Right.
Now we could put the polo on every day, but we not. You know what I'm saying? But that's why we did that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so the commentary, the over, like so many people do things for clicks now and engagement that if you don't have a sound background or something, somebody can share something and you take it as fact, not opinion. So and unlike in the newspaper, the opinion column was labeled. And you write an article says this is opinion. You know what I'm saying? Don't take this as facts. This is Ryan's thoughts, you know. So for that reason, I think that the dude that's the creative director, what's his name at Ralph Lauren?
I know it's a brother though. Yeah, he's been getting busy for a couple of years now too over there.
I really like a lot of stuff that they've done. I thought that it's a good homage. I'm not an HBCU grad or alumni or nothing myself, but I appreciate the history. I appreciate the passion that people have for it. And I appreciate the history that those schools and the legacies that they've built. And so I feel like those pieces speak to a particular group of people in a similar way that like when I listen to people's criticisms of we always bring up Louis Vuitton and like the where they're going. Like Pharrell is talking to a particular group of people and their sensibilities. He's not talking to the people who have the highest taste levels and have the highest understanding. Right. It's not who he's talking to. He's just not talking to you. Now I understand that this brand might have talked to you before.
It's not what's happening right now.
He is not talking to you. Yeah, he's just not talking to you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying the brand won't return to that, but that's just not where they are right now. And so I think it's like kind of like that thing. And the Sydney Sweeney thing, this is why you have diversity and inclusion. So somebody says, hey, I think I like the metaphor that we're making with the jeans.
She's hot. He's a sex symbol and all.
No, hold on. Maybe this is a new segment we're going to create. Let's pretend we're in the internal review. Okay. I see the ad, I read the spot, they share it. Hey, I love the metaphor with jeans and jeans, American heritage, pride. However, did you know
Oh,
that there are some white people that say this exact same thing with malicious
right,
intent?
right.
I've had that happen before when Jif Peanut Butter, I got called into a meeting and they said, Jif Peanut Butter, we want to make fun of mumble rappers. Say, well, wait a second. Why in the fuck does Jif Peanut Butter know
Right,
about rap?
right.
Nothing. So, however, I get what we're trying to do
Mm-hmm.
here. And if we turn it this way, we'll be good. Right. And I think that's all the Sydney Sweeney thing did. If you want to do that, you get somebody with brown eyes.
Yeah. You kind of just got to, because
You get somebody with brown eyes. They can still
yeah,
be white. They can still be blonde.
yeah.
My beautiful brown eyes are
Right,
American. My blonde hair, my blue
right,
jeans,
right, right.
and that fixes the whole thing.
Yeah, no, it's been interesting. I get, for me as a person in general, I tend to be angry more when it's something that catches me by surprise. So I was not that angry at it. I definitely laughed and shook my head because this is some silly ill shit that's happening right now. But I was not upset. It's understandable why many others were. So I won't necessarily disregard that. But I definitely, as a person that works in these offices, it really is one of the things, like, these people don't really be knowing like what the fuck's going on. Like that, I don't
Or they just
yeah,
don't
I
have
don't
the
think these are fucking
person.
Nazis at the ad agency. Like, we're going to push a fucking eugenics agenda. But boy, oh boy, you need somebody that might
Boy,
be
oh
aware of
boy.
something like that from time to time. That's why diversity is important, because somebody else will pick up on that and say, I get what you mean. We might want to watch that. Like how you just mentioned.
And diversity might not even be a person of
Yeah,
color. Diversity could be age.
absolutely.
I've been in meetings with people just generally older than me, and they're like, I would take this
Right,
way. I'm like, it's good to know because I
I
didn't
didn't even think
even.
about that.
So I want to put that out there too. Diversity is not color and nationality. Ageism is a thing
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Also,
That's
your
a big thing.
background, from your work experience to your education, I feel like all of that stuff matters, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Because I come from a non-traditional background, and I definitely be in that motherfucker asterisks and checking things off. And I'm valued. I know that that is a part of my value and what I bring to the company, as well as my cultural know-how. But when people typically go down the traditional pathway, you just, as we mentioned, echo chambers kind of exist. It's a particular formatting of the way that this education system and pipeline teaches you how to think about these things, that it helps to just have someone who just simply thinks differently or comes from a different background, whether it be age, race, creed, color, all the other stuff you just named. It
Whatever.
all makes for better work in having a good, open, and safe environment where someone can speak up. Because sometimes you might hit your hiring quota, but people don't feel comfortable to speak up. And I mean, I encourage people to speak up, but I also understand being a person, especially from a marginalized minority community, and
It ain't
and
easy.
you just want to pay your bills. You done worked very hard to get there, and you finally got it, and you ain't trying to be broke. And I also understand
Yeah.
that fear and anxiety, but I don't think that managers and executives should be creating environments where the best work isn't able to actually be made, because you don't create an environment that is safe and conducive for people to be able to actually have those sort of hard conversations.
I think that was such a miscalculation by not a strategist, a business account people, that team, not because that's such a like basic level
Mm-hmm.
metaphor in pop culture that we've seen. Like I've never met anybody in the Aryan Nation to my knowledge.
Right.
So it's not like the same thing as like, oh, I know about gangs or I know something that I've actually maybe seen on the wall or interacted
Mm-hmm.
with. Like I haven't interacted with that group at all, and I know
Mm-hmm.
that. You know what I'm saying? And so it goes to show you why history is so important in
Mm-hmm.
school. Because let's assume that these were white people that made this. Let's assume that if they weren't white people, let's assume that these people went to predominantly white institutions at some point in time in their life. Now use our institution not giving you a full history has now left you with a blind spot that affects your career, that affects your standing. Now, hopefully both American Eagle and maybe this agency have a good enough relationship where they can recover. But if I was American Eagle, this immediately shows me you're a blind spot as an agency. You know, and as agencies, it's so many agencies now are global. Even if you're not global, bro, you gotta find a way to get other people to look at stuff. That's all just gotta get other people to look at stuff, because this was such, like we said, a fixable thing. And it would have been so much more powerful to have somebody say, these are my American genes, and they not just have blue eyes.
Right. Yeah, I think I saw like a quick Levi's clap back as well with Beyonce, because I know she's over there doing her thing with Beyonce, and they're like, Beyonce has better genes. I was like, oh, that's nice. But you're gonna open yourself up for that. On the other side, I think with Ralph though, the other part that I find really beautiful, you know, I think that the HBCU pipeline is a great kind of like space to do very impeccable storytelling within. And the history of HBCUs runs very parallel to what Ralph Lauren is all about. Like, Ralph Lauren didn't come from money. He was a poor kid. He's an Army veteran. You know, he starts off with ties and shit. He comes from very humble means. He's in a great American dream story. And a lot of his brand, the appeal from the hip hop audience all the way through to the actual American aristocracy that he, you know, created his aesthetic around, it's all aspirational. You know, like the same way that luxury goods, when you ain't got no real Louis Vuitton budget, but you might buy that purse or, you know, that wallet or something like that. It's aspirational to attach yourself to something like that because you believe in kind of the brand mantra, what it stands for, what it means. And I love that the HBCU pipeline, because, you know, the beginning of the HBCUs were because we weren't being allowed into the other institutions like that. So we had to create our own shit. But through these HBCUs, I really love like the A&T ones and all that with the architecture and the STEM and all of that. These people made great inventions. They became awesome engineers and doctors and lawyers and politicians and entrepreneurs all through this HBCU circuit because, you know, you might have went to FAMU, but you got good homies that's at Howard and Hampton or Xavier and so on and so forth. And even like how BET would work that circuit back in the days, going on the college tours and all that stuff, from Hits from the Street to like the artists that they were promoting and things like that. It was a particular, like, it's still to this day a very like intrinsic feeling, because I didn't go to an HBCU but we know enough about HBCUs. We got plenty of alumni friends. It's a thing when it comes to this blackness that they have and why they there, and it's generally a very conscious decision to attend an HBCU, to be around your people, because that means something to a lot of folks who decide to go that path for a particular reason. And I love that, you know, they leaned into that when it comes to the Black American story. Not to mention, they would be putting that shit on. I ain't talking about that. Well, HBCU kids do be putting that shit on too. But this is what the second campaign now. And I even saw a super random deep cut for the advertising folks, but Lisa Chu and Coltrane Curtis, their son, the owners and founders of Steam Epiphany, their son, their elder son is in there, and they like shouted out and all of that. But Coltrane is a Morehouse man, like he's an alumni of Morehouse. I think his father might have went there too, and his father worked in advertising. That's the reason that he got in advertising and all that. But like, that's the type of like underneath the surface kind of like deep cut knowledge and rich history and storytelling that kind of comes through either advertently or inadvertently with the type of stuff that they're going over there. And I really do think it's a great case study of just like how brands can truly be authentic and aspiration. I think aspiration is going to be something that brands will have to latch on to, especially as this economy goes down and a shit ton of young people don't have jobs. They're going to need to feel hopeful about something and need something to latch on to that they can buy or buy into as a product or an idea that they can say, this means something to me and this is who I want to become down the line, whether it be Nike and getting more in shape and preparing for the fucking apocalypse, all the way to Ralph Lauren and getting a good cardigan, so you just feel a little smoother. You ain't gonna fuck up your clothes like that. You know, you got a $500 white cardigan on. You know that's a different type of vibe right there. But
That's real.
yeah,
That's real.
from a strategy perspective, I know you just say you were a fan of it too, but on the strategist side, like I'm a big fan of it, man. I love to see it. I wish I was able to get some. I might get some on resale one of these days, but I'm happy it's out the way it
Oh,
too.
and the creative director's name is James
Bam.
Jeter. Shout out to James. Shout out to James Jeter, man. Shout out to James. So yeah, man, I think like, you know, something that we always talk about that's really important is having that cultural knowledge, having an appreciation for culture. And it doesn't always have to be your culture for you to have the appreciation. Like you should always make sure that you're representing, I hate this brand term, but authentically, you know, because authenticity is not only a great seller, but it's a safety net.
Yeah,
Authenticity is a
yeah.
safety net. When people are so consumers now are so intelligent and know when they're being sold to, know when marketing, like you talked about. That's why people trust people more than they trust brands, and brands have to figure out how to be better people,
Even though
which they always
politically
should
it's
have
fucking us up,
done.
but on a brand and marketing tip.
Corporate social
Right, right.
responsibility. They have all lacked corporate social responsibility. And so now that people are taking back that attention, that power, that commerce, you know, these brands have to actually compete in a free market. And like I said, brands are now just to come up for the major individual. That's all they are now. And I'm not mad at people that sign. I'm not mad at people that stay independent. Speaking of which, before we get out of here, I will give a shout out to Freddie Gibbs for Alfredo
Oh yeah,
2.
no, it's good. It's better than the first one too, and I really like the first one. So
I
I'm
don't
I'm I'm, I'm, a,
know.
I'm a
I don't
two
think I can
guy. I'm a
say that.
two guy, brother.
I can't say that because if I'm not mistaken, Alfredo 1 had what's my song on there? And I don't want to mix up my Freddie Gibbs projects. But between Scotty Beam, Babies and Fools, God is
God is perfect,
Perfect,
my dude, too.
and Frank Lucas, him and the Butch.
I
I mean,
think
I know
yeah,
they beef
yeah,
now,
yeah, but
but
that was fine. I think Skinny Sugar's on that one too, isn't it? Skinny Sugar's my joint.
mhm,
Alfredo
yeah.
one is a
No, they both
classic. I'm
fire.
not
They
gonna
both
say
fire.
that Alfredo 2 is a classic yet. We know the staying power of Alfredo 1. I do think this one will
Yeah.
have it, but the way that it plays, I think I think the sequencing of it is better for me. I can really sit back.
I'll give you that.
That might really be what it is. But it's a good
It's a
quality
great
project.
sequel.
It's a good quality.
It's a
Yeah.
great sequel. It's hard having good sequels that don't
Yeah.
feel the exact same or feel like throwaways. And it don't feel like throwaways. It feels like another
Right, right,
time.
right,
And
right.
like, he's rapping about different stuff, like where
Right.
you know, like it's a
Did
good
you
project.
watch
I got
the
to give him a
short
look.
film? I like started it, but I didn't finish it. I didn't need to finish it.
I got to finish it. I ain't really. I just had a
Yeah.
lot of stuff going on. I haven't really tapped in with it. And two, to be honest, it was hard for me to. I can't really get off the clips. Like I listened to other projects. Like I listened to Freddie Gibbs and like all the way through a couple of times actually. So like I am actively listening to Freddie Gibbs, but that clips is like maybe because I haven't heard them together in such a long
Yeah,
time. Like
yeah.
Freddie Gibbs gave me a lot of projects in these last 5 years, so I listened to Freddie Gibbs and knew Freddie Gibbs pretty actively. But no, that clips is like it's still
No, that's
hitting.
real.
It's still hitting.
I'm sure we'll damn near do like a best of type of series at the end of the year. That feels in our
Got
pedigree.
to.
But I think right now I would still rank the Clips album over Alfredo 2. They would still, I think, be two top teners to me at this point. But I would
Yeah,
still
I
rank the
don't
Clips
foresee
project over
anybody.
the Freddie Gibbs one at this point.
Yeah. So I will give Tyler a good listen. I'll give Metro a listen today,
It's
I'm
fun.
sure,
You know, I
too.
don't know if you're stepping out or anything tonight. It's definitely like a good early evening kind of pregame type of vibe. It got good energy. It's gonna make you want to go have some fun. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I'm down with that. I did put out a all bars Nicki Minaj mix.
Yes. I gave it a spin. I was like, okay, I see what you on. I see what you on. You got a good artist,
You know,
series going on as well. I rock with what you do.
yeah, I like that. I always felt like that was like
Mm-hmm.
important for people or whatever, just to like instead of a playlist. I feel like instead of making a playlist of an artist, I'd rather make a
As a
mix
DJ,
because
especially. Yeah,
as a DJ,
yeah.
as a DJ personally. And I would never really probably ever do too many all artist sets.
Real.
So it's like,
you're pretty selective
you know
about
what
the
I
ones
mean?
that
Like,
you do. I feel like these particular artists like mean something to you too.
yeah, I can really pull and make it
Mhm.
enjoyable to listen to.
One more thing, I guess, before we get out though, man.
What's
Do you
up?
think I think you probably say yeah, but I actually want to hear what you say because you might say no. You think he's signing tomorrow? Yeah.
Oh, Luka? Yeah, he's signing. That's why he in America. That's why he's skinny.
Yeah, and in LA, a good business move. I also saw like it was like LeBron and like I think maybe Maverick or Rich Paul or whatever.
With Joker's
Which would be interesting.
You know what that's about, don't you?
Hmm?
You know what that's
A new
about,
league,
don't you?
right?
Yeah.
But it's gonna be an international joint, right? Yeah, so that's big money. LeBron setting up for when he retired for sure. He about to go get them B's, not them M's no more.
Yeah, nah. Luka definitely gonna sign. I think LeBron. What I took away from Rich Paul was he was just saying like LeBron not finna retire next year.
Good.
So like he thanked the Lakers because the Lakers basically just said peace out. Like LeBron is the only. That's the interesting thing. I was actually arguing with my brother and my dad about this, but I was like, LeBron is the only player right now that's a top 2 player on their team, and this team basically said, yeah, you don't have a future with us. And so it's just kind of like, well, what do you do from here? And he's also just not retiring and aging like the other stars that have come before him. So yeah, we're just in like a interesting space, that a space that people should appreciate because it's not gonna last.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like LeBron is not gonna play till he's 50. Like he's generally not. So we got less of him than more of him coming. So like I'm enjoying it, especially seeing what's going on with like a person like Coach Prime and everything that he got going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, whatever. Play to however long, bro. We got one life. Who the fuck are we to tell you to not play? You know what I'm saying? Like,
you only got so many more opportunities to catch them live too. So I need to go ahead and see where I'm.
Need to go ahead and do it, man.
Run out of town. Seeing him in Chicago just don't seem like much. He do get up when he play in the United Center, but like the Bulls aren't gonna put it. They did win last time they was here, but like the Bulls not.
It was the last second shot.
But like the Bulls don't be coming with that Anna for real. I need to go to like Minnesota.
It's fun because it's a group of Chicago fans that don't like LeBron. That's why it's fun to watch LeBron here because of the years of him tormenting them with Cleveland. So it is in the comparisons to Jordan. So there is a little bit more vitriol, a special vitriol when he comes to Chicago. That's fun to be in the atmosphere of. Haven't done it.
Okay, that's something to consider. It's
fun. This year I want to see the Chef though. I never seen the Chef in person. I want to see Durant. Those are the two that I haven't seen that I really want to see. It's not too many other players that I haven't seen. I haven't seen Wemby officially in NBA, but I saw him in Summer League.
Tight. So, he'll be around for a minute. The other ones, they really on their like last one.
On their last leg. So I really got to see. I want to see the. I want to see the Chef one time. You know,
real
do that. So yeah, man, this is another good one. We're gonna definitely try to get it in next week. I'll definitely.
We've been running with these lately.
We've been running.
We definitely got our legs now.
No, we getting to it next week too. I'll give you a little deep dive into Superman versus Fantastic Four.
Oh, tight, nice. Have you seen both at this point now?
Yeah, I've seen both of them.
Okay, bet. I'm here for it.
Seen both of them. So yeah, we'll look at the movies. Like you said, we're running into the fall a little bit. Football coming up. You know what I mean? We'll be getting to that, I'm sure, a little bit too. So a lot more good stuff coming. So, oh yeah, if you're still listening, good for you. But Instagram coming soon. TikTok coming soon too.
Yes. Yeah. We on your ass the rest of the year.
You know, so all that good stuff. So we'll holler at y'all later, man. Peace out.
All right, y'all. Peace.